go again.
Little remix coming in.
Little remix action. Anyway, it's like ESPN. Anyway, what's up, guys? It's Mike Frank with Berkshire Hathaway coming to you today with Christian Olson. Andrea is outside parking. I don't know what she's doing out there, but she'll be in a minute. Anyway, what's up, Christian?
Not much, man. What's going on with you?
Just remixing the ESPN content.
We got to show my introductory, like where I did the little music. I think that beats that.
What is your little music?
The one I did, the little humming and the singing before we actually went
live.
Oh,
yeah. Well, Liv has it on record, so she'll add that later. Also, while we're at it, we're going to make a sincere attempt to not be weird AF. I was watching a real estate agent, super successful person, and somebody that I like, oh, wow, doing good things. I like to emulate him. He's not really like my type, not my style, but I like to emulate. And watched his first podcast, and it was a little awkward.
I thought you were going to say we were awkward.
No. We're always awkward. That's just like a thing. I'm okay with that.
I feel like there's a difference between awkward and weird.
I mean, okay, then it was a little weird.
Are we not? I mean, like...
You're weird.
Do I know this agent?
I don't know, but I don't want to throw them under the bus because they are a local market agent, and I do respect him.
Okay, never mind then. But... Off air.
Yeah, I mean, and I want everybody to get better. I actually think we need to get better.
We do.
Anyway. So this morning we were talking with our team on our Monday morning focus call, and we had Phil Jones on the call. Shout out to Phil.
He's a shit.
He's watching our podcast right now, actually.
Number one fan.
By the way, if we have Phil Jones follow our 37 followers, I'm about it.
That'd be awesome, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Dream come true.
She made it. I think the key is that we all suck. And I think that's a reality that we just have to get over.
Hence why Dre comes in late.
Truth bombs. But if you're going to have that conversation with yourself, you need to be able to overcome the objection, which is the irony of Phil's conversation this morning is all about overcoming objections. And it's not about the actual objection handling itself. It's more about setting the expectation of the way that you're going to handle the objection when it comes up.
That was confusing.
It's really confusing. Like, for example, so you're late.
Yes, sir.
Could you set your alarm for an earlier time?
100%.
Yeah, but I mean, in the end of the day, you're still going to snooze it. Right? Like now we're going to snooze it 3 times instead of twice.
You know the new update that iPhone did that it changes the snooze to end, like the end and then the snooze, it flip-flops it. Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Curveball.
Yeah.
Yikes. No, I have not updated my phone. Now you're just going to not be here is what you're saying. Snooze. I snoozed, I swear.
Turns out I ended it.
Yeah. But I think the curveball is if you think about it. So you were late. If you set your alarm earlier, you're just going to snooze one more time or end it, right?
Sure.
But if you handle the objection yesterday before it comes up today, you won't be late because you won't snooze it that one extra time. You'll get up earlier, you'll set your alarm earlier, and you'll handle the objection by setting yourself up for the success. Which is ironically kind of the same thing that we talked about last week.
Unlocking your potential.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make a book, or not a book. Jesus.
A book?
Oh, Christian wants to write books now.
Christian just elevated himself.
But
reading David Goggins is not enough anymore. He needs to write his own.
Well, I wasn't going to talk about it in my video, but I feel like I've already posted enough about it and brought it up enough. But I don't know.
I mean, who knows? I think in the end of the day, if we take the approach of what's causing the delay, what's causing us to be late, what's causing us to not take priority or prominence to that one thing, and I think I'm going to assimilate it to something that I do that I just now sort of realized. I'm fine being late. I have no problem with you being late.
Thanks.
That's a you problem. Right? You have to have a problem with yourself.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm fine being late. You want to be me on time? You want to see me 5 minutes early, Dad? No, not going to happen. Because my dad watches the podcast. But if I'm more than 5 minutes late, now I'm not okay. So if I roll up to a showing 2 minutes after the time that I'm scheduled and the buyer has a problem, you're not my client. I don't want to be the person that's always before you, always 5 minutes early.
It's hard to believe that you're just 5 minutes late.
That's my thing.
I feel like it's been there's been
No.
No, it is his thing.
My thing is look, 5 minutes is traffic, 5 minutes is a red light, 5 minutes is a phone call that you couldn't get off of, 5 minutes is reasonable. 10 minutes is unreasonable but acceptable. 15 minutes is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like if I have a buyer that's coming from an appointment, okay, sure, you were at another appointment, you have something going on, that's totally reasonable. But telling me that like your car broke down on the day that we're supposed to meet 5 minutes before you're supposed to be there, that's difficult to hear. If you're telling me that you got towed, which happened last week, and then my client showed up 20 minutes after their original appointment, like you got towed, and then you like went to the tow lot, got your car, and then came to meet me, and you didn't let me know 3 hours in advance. Like it doesn't make sense. So like I'm okay being 5 minutes late. Hey, I'm running a couple minutes behind. I'm okay with that. But 15 minutes is like neglectful.
Right.
In order to change your approach, you have to be willing to say, this is what I'm okay with, this is what I'm not, and this is how I'm going to handle it. And I think truthfully, that's kind of what Phil is saying. Like, I want to have a conversation with somebody. I want to welcome them into my career, into my commentary, into my conversation about their home. And he's saying, hey, let's get together one-on-one and have mutual respect for each other.
I agree, but I also think the way that he talks to people is kind of like an art almost.
Yeah.
Like especially from the book that I got from Summit. Read that, and it opened up like so many different ways to handle objections or guide a conversation or propose different ideas.
So like, you understand the OFQ thing?
Yeah.
Do you? Well, you didn't watch it. Sorry. Okay.
Sorry.
So OFQ. So you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to talk to somebody brand new. It might be the person at Quiznos, which by the way, I love Quiznos sub. Is there a Quiznos anymore? Is that a thing? There's one by you.
I've never really.
There's one. There used to be one on Route 40.
I think it's still there.
Oh, I need to stop there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've never had Quiznos, but
so if you're going to call Quiznos, or if you're going to call your buyer client, or if you're going to call your broker, your manager, or your husband, wife, doesn't matter. You're going to introduce yourself, right? So you're going to open up by introducing yourself and saying, hey, it's Mike. Or like, hey, my name's Mike. I'd like to order. Or like, hey, my name's Mike Frank with Berkshire Hathaway. Like you're going to introduce yourself, right? That's a normal thing. Yes?
yes, sir.
You with me?
Yeah.
So we're going to have
me
a
up.
fact. Something that says, I understand where you're coming from and you understand why I'm here. So like, hey, Dre, team leader Mike, you were late today.
Yes, sir.
That's exactly what happens. Because by stating the fact, you're going to affirm it,
Correct.
right? So then I get the opportunity to say, why were you late? Or better yet, take a Phil Jones approach and say, was there something impeding your way to be here on time today?
Jesus.
Well, yeah, I mean, but like it's an awful question.
Yeah.
But the reality is that if you took the conversation with your husband, wife, or maybe your buyer seller, and you said, hey, Mr. Buyer, my name's Mike Frank with Berkshire Hathaway. I understand you've been looking to find a home. Or like, I saw you on our website
Yeah.
and wanted to thank you for registering. Or like whatever your comment might be, they're going to say, I was.
Yes.
I feel like this is also a way as a real estate agent to identify the clients that are serious and the clients who aren't.
I mean, it's definitely a truism, but I wouldn't put weight into it. I'm really glad that you didn't listen today, because the one thing that he said was, don't leave voicemails. And I was like, excuse me.
No, I love that. I love that.
But what he did not say was, don't leave voicemails. What you heard was, don't leave voicemails, but he didn't say, don't leave voicemails.
There's more to it.
Right.
He said after like the
Confusion.
seventh time.
Confusion. Okay, so what he said was, don't ever leave a voicemail ever again. And what people heard was, don't ever leave a voicemail ever again. Ring, 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 hang up.
He just assumes that's what people heard.
No, that's what happens.
That's what he said.
If you the parts I cut out of the chat.
Ouch.
Oh my god, they were like, "What do you mean never leave a voicemail again?" Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
So then he furthers to say, okay, so you called today at 11. Hang up. Call back at 3. Call back before you leave the office at 5:30. Try them again tomorrow. First thing when you get into the office, 9 a.m. Call at 1 at lunch break. Try again at 4:30. And if they don't answer at 4:30, you're going to leave them a voicemail and it's going to go something like this. Ring, ring. My name is Mike Frank with Berkshire Hathaway. I understand you've been getting a lot of calls, OFC, right? So your introduction, your offer, your fact, and then your question. So I understand that you've been getting a lot of calls, and I wondered when would be the best time to connect. I've tried reaching out to you a number of times. I'm going to call you again in 2 days at 8 in the morning. If that time doesn't work for you, reach out to me and let me know what time does. I look forward to hearing from you. Hang up.
I feel like that's how I'm going to start going about things.
But But it also commits you to making 3 or 4 or 5 phone calls.
That's yeah.
And my argument is, if you leave a message at 11 and you call back at 3 and you call back at 4:30, what's the difference?
How many people listen to the message anyway?
Well, my argument has always been the reason to leave a message is because the digital transcription. That's actually my reason. And I would love to meet Phil Jones now that he's our 38th follower, right? Like, I'd love to talk to him and ask him, like, isn't there value in leaving the voicemail so they know who's calling?
But then don't you also follow it up with a text?
Yeah.
I feel like it's so much,
I
especially
listen
as
to
a
all my
new lead
voicemails.
coming in.
I'm not saying they don't listen.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that it's there and they can see it. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
at work. Oh, Mike Frank with Berkshire Hathaway. Interesting. Well, hang on.
Yeah, but then like I feel like you followed up with the text. They may or may not reply to that. If they don't, you call, do the same thing over and over again. Then they have another 3 notifications, and another 3, then another 3. And at that point, they're like, I'm sick and tired of this fucking person talking to me or reaching out to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you.
And I think I've experienced that.
I definitely do not disagree with you. But here's the question. Why is it any different for me to call voicemail text and then go 2 days and call voicemail text and then go a week and call voicemail text versus Phil's 11, 3, 4:30, 9, 1, 5, 8:45 on Thursday? Like,
I feel like this is more for like a new lead or a new person you're talking to, though.
well, yeah, I'm not going to blow up people that I'm already having conversation with.
So then I don't understand your question then. Like, why would we not do what he says? Why would we?
What is the difference between Phil calling 3 times today, 3 times tomorrow, and once
Because
on
the
Thursday?
ball's still in your court. If you leave that voicemail, they can look at it, choose to ignore it. But if they don't have any idea of why you're calling,
No,
it gives you a
I
reason
agree
to
with
call
you.
back.
I agree with that. And what Christian's saying is that because they now know who you are, they have no reason to answer you.
Yeah.
And so I agree with that. If you're going to put a follow-up reminder for the same day and call again, I do agree with that. But what I'm saying is to go 2 days and 6 phone calls without leaving a voicemail or a text message, why is that different than me leaving a text message and a voicemail today and calling tomorrow? If somebody doesn't want to answer 6 phone calls, like, oh my God, is my
still
kid
feel like
dying in school? Like, why,
I'm not
why are
gonna
you
lie to you. I
calling
feel
me?
like that would piss some people off.
Well, and I think then that's my point is I think that it goes both ways. Like, in some ways that would be a better approach to capturing a lead. But in other ways, I think it's equally as haphazard. And I would challenge Phil to wonder why he feels that that's going to cultivate at a higher rate.
So when Courtney comes in to make phone calls, whether it's
Yes.
dialing for dough or just the one-on-ones that we always have, she never leaves voicemails. Partially because she doesn't like doing it and she's terrible at it, and that's what she says. But she gets a lot of like response with her follow-up text, and then also maybe like me reaching out the next day later and saying, "Hey, Courtney."
Yeah, but the argument would be that if I'm leaving a voicemail and sending a follow-up text at the same time, I would elicit the same response. And I'm only saying that I'm challenging Phil's approach because I think that at the volume that we receive leads, that approach is hard.
Okay, what about if you called them, they didn't answer, you left a voicemail and a text. If they didn't answer the phone call, when do you think they're going to text back? Right?
I've had that happen a couple times.
What?
I think it's just.
I think
preference.
90% of our buyers are screening their calls because they're afraid of the person on the other end of the phone. And I think that's the truth. And that's what I would say to anyone in the world. I think that the average real estate agent operating at a level that we're operating at is working in a higher price point. And because of our price point, buyers are afraid of whoever's on the other end of the phone, whether it's Comcast, BG&E, their old apartment complex, their doctors or lawyers or whoever's hunting them down for that $200 bill that's just pushing them over the edge. And that's how I feel. It's just genuinely what I think.
I think otherwise. I think total opposite. Like,
I think it's nice to switch it up as a real estate agent. Like your technique, I think, to not wear yourself out, just bring in a little fresh.
Like I've been doing that online lead script and like call, text, voicemail, even sometimes email for one person, like almost not every single time I call them, but just about, and it becomes very like salesy and it's kind of fucking annoying. Like I hate being that person.
Yeah. But to Andrea's point, and what I'm going to bring into my conversation is maybe there's somebody that I'm going to leave on red. I'm going to call them and I'm not going to leave them a voicemail. I'm not going to text them. I'm going to set a follow-up reminder for later that day, and I'm going to follow up again. And I'm not saying that I would do that with every single buyer, because I think that at the frequency that we're bringing leads in, we don't have the capacity to do that with every single buyer. We cannot afford 3 rings for a full transcription and no voicemail, because the opportunity that we miss, that third opportunity, or the opportunity that we miss tomorrow's phone call or whatever, I need to get in front of them.
But I also think we have other measures that support that. Like when they first come in, they get a welcome video.
Under your argument, we would turn off the follow-ups on our CRM in the first place. I'm like wondering who the fuck is going to be watching this. They're like, I'm thinking about joining your team, but now, anyway.
Run.
No, I mean, I think it's important to, talk about what our options are. I mean,
I agree.
I think everyone works differently. Everyone perceives things differently. So it's like
can we talk about something else? Allison just got a listing agreement and a buyer, and she was like, I've been working with this person for 5 months. And I was like, how have we never heard about this person? Anyway, congratulations.
Congratulations, Allison.
Congrats. I think it comes down to like how you want to run your business. Like I talk to Heather about that all the time, especially buyer consultations. And I learned like kind of from you have that first meeting at a property, you have the buyer consultation, but after each appointment, at the end of those appointments, you want to schedule another one. So like buyer consultation, you're scheduling another day to go out tour homes. You're sending an email to connect them to probably a lender if they're not already connected. And then I don't know why I'm blanking, but I think there's one other thing that I do. Oh, the portal.
Okay, but going back to your point about changing it up and doing it Phil Jones's way, maybe going a little bit about this person gets this and that person gets that, and I'm about that. But under the same logic, why is our CRM sending any content at all, ever?
To get in front of them.
Well, but if you're going to make the argument that you want to take the Phil Jones way, then you turn that off.
But I feel like the call, voicemail, text, like back to back to back is so salesy, and they might get an introduction video, which is more like something relatable.
Well, but that's also why my texts go out and they're like an emoji, or like I miss you, or like
You don't send that to a new client.
Yes, he does.
Bet I will today. I'm gonna screenshot that shit and send it to you. I have a new lead that came in this morning, and I have a girl that stood me up today. I will do it to both of them.
You haven't yet.
I'm about to. Don't watch me.
Why do you
Right
feel
now.
like it's salesy?
Just from my experience, that's what I've like lately. I don't know. I just feel like I've been very salesy. Not necessarily that I'm not able to connect with people, but it's like overwhelming. Like the online lead, like, hey, thank you for registering. Me and Courtney had this conversation on Dialing for Does. Like, people like registering, like that's such like, thank you for registering for what? Like, I looked at some homes online. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? And then a couple other things, and it made sense. Like, we're coming off so salesy in the first 3 lines of that script. And people,
I don't
people are just
disagree.
like, yeah. Or like, what? Like, maybe.
Well, okay. So what if you change up your approach?
Well, that's it. That's like,
What if
what
you
we're
like called
addressing
in
right now.
What if you like called in and you were like, Liv? And she was like, yeah. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I caught you. And she's like, okay. And you're like, hey, you were on our website last night. I wanted to thank you so much for registering. Like, she's going to be like, yeah. She's going to be like, wrong button.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, she's going to be so excited to be a part of that conversation. It's the same reason that I think that we're successful at the trolley tour in the first place. Because everybody else is there like, oh, yeah, I'm here. Sign up, register. And we're like, wow, 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 wow. Like,
I'm just going to start
That was a Nerf
yelling
gun.
when they answer.
no, it was a money gun.
Oh, money gun. Sorry.
Which we did bring last time.
We didn't use it, though.
We did.
Did we?
I shot it at Ryan.
100% did, yeah.
Oh.
I shot it at you all the time when you were talking to people.
Oh.
Wow, 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 wow. Anyway, but I think in a lot of ways, the excitement that I have for what Phil Jones is talking about, and we're going to talk about this on Wednesday too, but the excitement that I have for what he's talking about is that it proliferates the idea that we should be having the conversation. It proliferates the idea that what we're doing isn't enough. Because if we're doing the same thing for 20 years and we're running the same scripts for 20 years, we're just behind, which ironically is the topic of today's podcast, which talks about separating myths from facts and don't be behind.
We're finally on topic here.
No. But like the point is that if you want to read the blog, read the blog. But the point is that if you're looking for information and you're getting information from something online and you think that it's relevant, it's September or it's April or something of 2022, it seems relevant, but as quickly as it became relevant, it became irrelevant. I'm going to use an example, bell-bottom jeans. Quickly relevant, relatively quickly went irrelevant, and then they came back. Skinny jeans, high-waist jeans, low-waist jeans. It's like, how many ways can you make jeans, right?
A million.
Jean shorts, booty shorts. I mean, now let's just list off all the ways you can make jeans. If we're going to have a full-time job and we're going to treat this shit like a job, we need to approach the conversation from a scientific one, which is to test and then evaluate. But we're going to like test and evaluate, test and evaluate, test and evaluate. And so if you try to do it your way and you try to do it your way and I try to do it my way and somebody new comes in and they're like, what way to do it? And we're like, my way, my way, my way. There's no right or wrong.
That's why I say it comes back to like, how are you going to run your business?
I think it's very interesting that you say it's salesy, but it's worked for you.
It has, but I think
it's funny because it works and it is work.
Right.
Which both works.
I mean, everything that you do is work at the end of the day. I mean,
yeah.
Not if you love it.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Monday morning.
Not if you love it. That's not salesy.
Fuck you. Way to ruin it.
I mean, the cool thing for me is I think getting more information, and where this all started and what we were talking about before we even hopped on the podcast was that we get so much good information and it's all over the place. You could get good information in a TikTok. You could get good information at an office meeting. You can get good information at an event or talking to another agent or talking to your lender or talking to your client. Like, I've got a couple clients that we get into deep conversation and all of a sudden I'm like, wow. Okay. But if we try to just do that all the time, it becomes clustery.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to be on our Monday morning focus to be able to disseminate some information that cultivates a conversation like this one that hopefully helps us proliferate the conversation about becoming better.
I don't know. I'm just saying Phil Jones is a shit. His presentation at Summit.
Yeah.
I don't even think you were sitting down for that.
I was not.
Yeah.
I was in the back of the room with Sandra.
That's a lot of calls in the span of 3 days.
In his argument, it's 7 goals.
But wasn't there something at Tom Ferry or like some other event that we learned, like
And
a new lead, but you call him like he's either twice or once every not every 5 days, but 5 days consecutively once, and you leave a text and voicemail? Like, I feel like this, that would be more overwhelming than what Phil Collins is talking about.
Yeah, Phil Collins, Phil Jones, but all the same.
I was listening.
Can you feel it? Right? That's the key. Can you feel it? Would it be more to make 5 calls in 5 days or 6 calls in 2 days? I think the argument falls on consistency. The argument falls on consistency. So tomorrow I'm going skiing, and I told Liv right before we started that we had to start on time because I need to get back to work so I can get my stuff done so that I can go skiing tomorrow. Because if I'm going to go do that, then I have to be consistent about what I do every day. I can't just fuck off. I can't just fuck off and not do my job. If I have to make 6 calls in 2 days, that's my job. If I have to make 6 calls to every lead that I get every day, that's a lot. If I have to, it's totally you. If I have to get...
John, you can mute it.
Mute you. If I have to get, 5 calls in 5 days with 5 voicemails and 5 texts, what if I just copied the same text? It would be awful. It would not be cultivating, but it would be at least getting the calls and text out. And I would further say that sending the text is fun, and I do it from my computer because it's interconnected, or through your CRM because it's simple. But if you're not doing the 5 calls in 5 days, you're not doing 6 calls in 2 days. What are you doing? And I think that's the bigger question.
I think at that point, just make a video for them.
What kind of a video?
If you're gonna, and like kind of like our introduction video, like instead of saying, hi, thank you so much for registering, I'll be reaching out to you shortly, saying their name, saying, hey, I saw that you were looking in this area, really want to touch base with you, let me know when's a good time to reach out to you, I've called you a couple times, yada yada, so on and so forth.
Yada yada yada. I have to say it.
Oh my goodness gracious. No, but I mean, if you're gonna make that much effort for one person, you might as well make it as personable as possible.
I think there's no wrong here. And it's whatever works for you. I also think that it's situational. If I got a call and it's 9 a.m. and I can ring them out and I can set a reminder to call them later today, great. But tomorrow I won't have the time to do that. So I'm going to call and set a reminder for Wednesday. And if I'm doing too many reminders or too much contact, then maybe I change.
Yeah.
But I think the key is that if you're not making contact and you're just doing the same old.
I feel like it's so difficult though. Like I've been doing the same thing since I was licensed, just kind of like taking from you.
He's like a fucking 80-year-old woman. I've been doing the same thing for 39 years, and now you want me to get in front of the camera?
No, that's not what I'm saying. But like, been doing the same thing. I don't even know what I was gonna fucking say anymore. I hate you. I can't do this. I'm done.
I think it's difficult because trying to change it up and trying to maneuver and manipulate to be with the times is hard, but neglecting to do it is worse.
Yes.
It's hard, but to neglect to do it is worse. And so whether you're going to send a video, I think sending a video text is the great thing that you can do.
If you're an iPhone user.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, because if not, it's just a link that no one clicks.
No, but I mean, you could send an iPhone video to an Android, just like, hey, what's up? It's Andrea with Berkshire Hathaway. I was just here taking a look at your file, and I wanted to get in touch with you because I know you've been looking at some properties here in Baltimore. Give me a shout back when you can. Send.
Yeah.
I mean, like, most likely, I would imagine that elicits a response.
Yeah.
And the response is like, oh my God, you're that girl from TikTok. And you're like, why? Yes, I am. Right? But like,
I hate doing it.
But I mean, it cultivates. And the question to ask yourself is not, should you do this or should you do that? But more, can I do more than I'm currently doing?
I'm still mad.
Why?
Because I can't remember what the fuck I was gonna say.
Meow.
And you just interrupt everything.
Christian, you just gotta be more confident in your thoughts, you know?
No, I was till his asshole said.
I think that's the key. And I think the real value, and I'm going to plug our team real quick. For a long time, it was me, driving and trying to educate and trying to do things for our team. And now it's really starting to transition where Liv is bringing a lot of value by disseminating more information and sharing more so that we can talk about it more, that we can learn about it more, we can do more education on it, and we can ultimately grow individuals into something more productive than what they are today. And I want to make another plug that I'm not always about your numbers. What did Nicole say last week? She said something like value is not
your production's not your value, or your value
something
not your
like
production.
that. Your productivity or something to that effect. But it's very, very rewarding to be able to change people's lives, whether they become successful in this industry or another. So anybody that wants to learn and grow, you're more than welcome to hop on our Monday Morning Focus and our Wednesday Elevate training call, whether you're in real estate or anything otherwise, hit us up. Boom, plug, done.
Take his spot on the podcast.
Take my spot so Christian can yell at you instead. Anyway, anybody have anything else to share with them?
Nope, forgot it.
Forgot it. Wop, 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 wop. Here we are on Christian's couch, laying there watching like, oh God, I hate this podcast. Going to the next one. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys real soon. We greatly appreciate all the opportunity. You know how to reach me. You can dial in my cell phone when it's not causing some interruption on the podcast. But at @MichaelFrank ___ at frankoliverco.com, and you can always dial me in.
Hey guys, you can reach me on Instagram and on TikTok, Andrea _Soto, and via text at 443-668-7776.
Christian?
Christian the Deadhead on Instagram, Christian at frankoliverco.com, email. There you go.
I couldn't withhold it.
Last time I'm on here.
We catch up with you guys real soon.
Oh Lord.